Hi, I'm Branche Foston, and this is VNN. In this week's news, we continue with part 2 of our story of the Karen Hayes movement and speak with Mrs. Hayes herself. But first, hundreds of protesters, many of whom were brought in on buses from around the region, stood outside of Marietta City Hall just before noon on Friday, May 1st.
Hey, I'm thinking maybe a communist?
People on both sides of the issue stood outside the building located on Jefferson Avenue, chanting about immigration and their right to stay, while those with opposing views held up signs reading "Stop Illegal Immigration" and "Secure the Border."
Our community is being invaded by La Raza and people that are here today to protest on May 1st and want immigration to be free and immigration to be a constitutional right, which we don't believe in that at all. The group that's out here marching today came from Pomona and LA in buses, and apparently they don't have a community to protest in, so they come to ours. So we're going to let them know that, look, we're about America, we're about families, jobs, schools, healthcare, hospitals. You know, they're already overrun, and bringing in more people from other countries that are in distress is not the solution illegally. If you're going to come here legally.
I have a lot of family that has no papers, and I think they have the right to be here because they are good workers, good people.
In our last segment, field correspondent Sterling Anno sat down with Karen Hayes and some of her supporters. This is part 2 of that story.
Karen, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
My pleasure, Sterling.
I wanted to begin by kind of clarifying / confirming that this whole thing started with, from what sounds like a out of control case of bullying. What really has been happening?
I think it's a very complex story, and something that you had said about out of control bullying at the school. It really is about gender harassment, so I think that even though bullying is a component of gender harassment, you have to understand that it's only a handful, and when I say a handful, it's 3 or 4 men that have been habitually harassing females on my campus. These 3 or 4 men have been harassing me for about 4 years, maybe even going into 5 years. It's been a long, long time that I've been dealing with their harassment. When it became at its worst was when I realized that they not only were targeting me, but they were targeting a lot of the other females on my campus. And it wasn't necessarily 3 or 4 of them on one female. It would be one male targeting a female, and then it'd be one of the other bullies targeting a different female, and sometimes it would be 2 of them targeting a different female. But in total, it wound up being at least 8 to 10 of us women on that campus that at some time or other over the last 4 or 5 years have been gender harassed by these men. And this has been going on for so long, 4 to 5 years, and this is the main problem. It started off with this being a major issue. The district made a choice to relieve me from my contract, and they used some of the emails that I had sent to a female teacher in response to her complaint against one of the male harassers. And when they used my emails, the emails were in fact very neutral most of the time, but a couple of them were biased. And when I was being released from my contract, that's their term, they told me I was being released from my contract, and they used those emails, I explained to them that this is ridiculous, that I have been telling the district, I pointed to them, I said, I've been telling all of you for years that this harassment is going on, and yet you guys have done very little to support me and my staff. And so everybody knew about the harassment that was going on my campus, and yet here I sit out a job because of the fact that they didn't come in and protect us the way that they should have.
And to this very day, it's seen as that to the board?
I think the board was not given all the facts. I think Mr. Ritter gave them a very small, biased view. He gave them a view that he wanted them to see. The board never once conferred with me. They didn't investigate the case with me. Because when you do an investigation, because they said they would, you would obviously have to speak to the victim. And they never spoke to me, and they never spoke to any of my teachers. What we have now is we have a district who hides behind the fact that they can't disclose anything. And I have made it public. I said, I want everything to be brought out at the board meeting on the 17th of March. Bring it out. I have what you gave me. That's this investigative report. If you've got something else, first and foremost, you should have given it to me before the 17th. But if you have something else now, bring it out. Let me see it. I have a right. If you're going to release me from my contract at the end of the school year, if you're going to tell me that I have done something egregious enough to warrant being let go from my job, then fine. Let me see it. And at this time, they've brought nothing forward. I think I did a very good job at being a principal. I've never been written up. I've never been talked to. I've never been disciplined in anything. And yet they were looking for a reason to get rid of me. And so for the parents out there, I want them to understand, and all the followers, there is more to come. This district has been doing a lot of things that are less than above board, and things that they need to be held accountable for. And I want them to know, I wasn't trying to be a whistleblower. That was not my intention. It really wasn't. My intention was to get my job back because I love what I do. I love most of my staff. I love my kids at the school. I love my families, and really all I wanted was to go back to my job. And I was hoping the district would realize that they had made a mistake, apologize to me, and let me go back. But instead, what has happened is it has turned into parents uncovering that there's a lot of things going on in this district that they weren't aware of. And that has nothing to do with me. But I can say that what they've discovered, they're facts. My parents are not bringing forth unsubstantiated facts. Everything is substantiated. They have documentation. And so if Mr. Ritter, Mr. Pulsifer think that, I'm going down and the parents are going to stop, that isn't the case. They opened up Pandora's box. I did not. All I wanted was to return to my job. And I want the public to know I'm an open book. If there's something that they want to know, please go to the SaveHayes.com website. Feel free to ask questions. If there's any kind of documentation I can provide to people, I'm happy to do that. If I don't have it, I'll explain I don't have it. But the story needs to be told, because even though it started off on a small scale, it's grown exponentially, and the whole story needs to be told.
Just like the Karen Hayes movement, there is so much community involvement in the area, and it's only natural that a service like Hope's Closet would be successful.
I'm Chrissy Allen. I'm the director at Hope's Community Closet. We're located in Temecula, and we provide clothing to school-age children, kindergarten through 12th grade in the Temecula-Murrieta area. There's never a cost. It's based on need, and families are able to come in twice a year and select full wardrobes for their children here.
From sneakers to elegant gowns, Hope's Closet is a resource for clothing and, even more important, humanity. In a time when material items have a tendency to be coveted, Hope's Closet has created a culture of giving. Recently, a group of Girl Scouts did their part to make a difference.
So, I'm Brianna, and this is Ryan. And I'm Ryan. And we're in Troop 104, and we did a clothing drive for Hope's Community Closet for our Bronze Award, and we collected a lot of clothes, 2,025, and they're all gonna go here.
This has been your news for the week. For more information on any of the stories, visit myvalleynews.com and be sure to like us on Facebook.